It just records my screen, so don't worry, you won't see yourself. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, if you're having any difficulties or anything, just type that in the chat. The coaches will jump on and try to answer questions or help you in that way. So first of all, this is the extended learning resources spreadsheet that the coaches have been putting together and adding to. We just wanted to get on and explain some things to you, show you around a little bit, some of our favorite tools that we've seen. So we just want to make sure that everybody knows what to do. So first of all, if you look at the spreadsheet, you will see that there are tons of tabs at the bottom. So just know that this isn't just one list of resources here. There are lots of others on the bottom. The first tab has pretty much an extensive list of companies that right now are offering free online resources and subscriptions. This one that says even more free resources, this is another compiled list by someone, and it also has descriptions and pretty much what is free online using that website. So if there are anything that you come across that are awesome that you're using and you would like to share, or something that you create, please share that with us and we will add it to this document. You can email myself, Nancy McDowell. You can email Andrea McCoy, Madeline, Chad, Hyatt, Laura Swain, any of the coaches, Dane, so we can add to this spreadsheet. Your administrators also have access to this, so just know that they can go in and do that as well. So I wanted to go over a couple of these before I pass it on to the coaches. And the first one is Common Lit. If you are not familiar with this, this is great for any content. You can create a free account, but you can also just go to the library function here and you can browse by books, genre, grade level, literary device, text sets, themes, and they also have Spanish text as well. So for example, if I go into theme and I go to community, it will bring up, here we go, featured content. It will bring up all of these articles that are written. You can see what the genre of the article is, what grade level about, and also the Lexile range. So for example, here is Cracking Code Purple 870 Lexile. If I click on this, it will bring up the article, and also there are guiding questions over here. There are annotation tools and vocabulary that is built in as well. They also have paired text if you look at the tab at the top. And then there is a parent guide that you can even do in Spanish. There's a teacher guide, related material, which is great. You might have to log in to see this, but some of those are there as well. So sometimes they have a video that goes along with it, which would be great for E&L students as well. So that's one resource that I wanted to go over. Another one, I'm going to go over to the all contents. This is really, all of these websites are great for any content that you want to use. Newsela has pushed out to all of the schools in our district right now. You should see a button through your Canvas page, and just know that that's available and it's leveled by Lexile as well. And if you go down to the bottom, there's also modified lessons for students with learning disabilities. So if you click into here, there are some modules that she has already created. And these are, she only has specific ones right now. It's completely free if I can get in, but it is on Maps and Globes, Introduction to Biology, and she's reading Because of Winn-Dixie each day. So some of those are already modified for you if you'd like to look at that. And then another great resource is Wonderopolis. I used this when I was in the classroom. I love this. Every day they have a different wonder of the day. So, for example, today's wonder is what is COVID-19? And you can click on it. There's usually a video that goes with it. So, we have this. Um, and then at the bottom, you see that they have an article with the vocabulary words. So you can click on or just even scroll over. You see the vocabulary words as well. Here, they can test their knowledge after they've read it. Here, they can take a word challenge from all of the words that were in the article. They can actually go in and you can contribute, like if they have a question of what they're wondering, so they can do that through what are you wondering. They can go into explore wonders. So this is great for student inquiry and just different student activities if you need to push that out. Here's like most recent. Here's what are zombie worms? Can you believe two opposite things? They can go into most popular. And I know that they can also search for wonders. So there's lots of different great articles here. What makes an animal a mammal? What was the Industrial Revolution? Are graphic novels books? So just lots of great things you can look by, excuse me, by content area as well. So there are lots of things on here that they can do. And the great thing about this is that you really don't have to have a login or anything, and neither do the kids. So that's a great resource to use as well. So just wanted to share that. And those are a couple of my favorites that are on here. And again, these are all for you for potential e-learning days that may be coming up and or activities that you're supposed to be providing for your students. I know right now it sounds like 90 minutes for the week or the next 2 weeks. I'm not sure. So we just wanted to jump on here and share these with you. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Andrea.
Hi, everybody. I want to highlight a couple things on the All Content tab. So Edpuzzle is one of my favorite resources for any content. And there are already a lot of pre-created lessons on there. So what is Edpuzzle? Essentially, all it is a video that was created by you or a video found on YouTube. And then you can embed check for understandings within those Edpuzzle lessons. So the nice part is you can see if a student tries to click on to a different tab and multitask while they watch your video, it pauses the video. Not that they would ever do that, but it pauses the video. So they actually have to be watching the video as it's playing. They can't just have it playing in the background. Then it shows you information on who actually watched the video. So this is nice if you're assigning a video, you know who actually took the time to watch it. And then it will give you and them information on those check for understandings. So you can use videos that are created already with check for understandings in there. You can modify what somebody has, or you can create your own. There's lots of options. On the math and science tab, there are links for Edpuzzle on there. And what's great is somebody has taken like all of the math Edpuzzles and basically categorized them by grade level band, by Common Core standard and topic. It's amazing. Like, I wish I had had this, but it has all sorts of things. The science tab is a little lacking, but really any content could use these. So if you're looking for a particular INS content area, just search in Edpuzzle and there's a ton out there for you to use. If we head back to, see, there's an example. Thanks, Nancy. And you can see those little bubbles at the bottom and on the side. That's where multiple choice questions are embedded. So if we head back to the spreadsheet, another thing on the All Content tab that I wanted to highlight is Edulastic. Courtney Allen loves her some Edulastic, but Edulastic is great in that you can search by state standard. So you can search by Indiana, You can search by content, and then you can search by grade level and standard. So those items that are on the iLearn release repository, a lot of those have already been put in there by other teachers as well. So this isn't like the most engaging thing for kids to do, but it is great for formative assessment, and it does give kids electronic ways to respond to questions. And then on some of these, then you don't have to recreate the wheel, and that sort of thing. All right, so let's go ahead and head to the math tab, por favor. And on the math tab, you will see the one I have highlighted is the Desmos activities. So most math teachers have used Desmos, but what they've done is arrange those Desmos by grade level tabs at the bottom, and which is nice because it can show you information based on the strand, and it gives you a little bit of information about each one on there, which is great. I also really like that if maybe you're trying to use this time to fill in some of those gaps, or you want to differentiate, that you can look at things for grade 3, grade 4, and grade 5. So headed back to our extended learning spreadsheet, another one I want to talk about that relates to math, but it also relates to all content, is Brain Pop. So for Brain Pop, students, it's free now. It's not typically free. So I will go ahead and put in the chat when I'm done talking the generic username and password that I have created for students. So you as a teacher can go on and create a login and figure out what videos you want to assign. When you go to assign those to students in Canvas, you're going to want to give them a Brain Pop login, and I've created a generic one for all of our middle school students to use. So Brain Pop has math videos, social studies, ELA, current events, science, all sorts of things. So those are things that I will share with you. I can put it on the spreadsheet. Nancy, you're so smart. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at science. All right, so you can see that same Edpuzzle video list under science. They don't have a ton on there yet, but they're getting there. You will see above that the PhET simulations. If you used these in the past and then struggled with them because they were written for Java, most have been updated now to HTML5, which means you can do them on your phone, you can do them on a Chromebook. There's a lot more accessibility to using PhET than before. Nancy, do you mind scrolling up a smidge? Thank you. The last couple at the top are two of my favorites, particularly for life science, but there is quite a bit of information there in regards to genetics and evolution, and there's all sorts of videos and sort of that, especially the biointeractive, it's that authentic piece from real world scientists in the fields, and they've got videos, and it's people that are in the field doing the science now, which is typically pretty engaging for students. And I think that is all I have. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this off to Laura, our literacy coach, so she can talk about L&L and the INS.
Thanks, Andrea. Can we just take one moment and answer the question on the chat? For the Desmos that you highlighted, do you have to create an account or like a code or anything?
I need to go back and look into it. I think you need to assign them to your class, is my understanding, but I can reach out to Jill for that.
Great. Okay. Hi, everyone. I am going to just highlight 3 on Lang and Lit and 3 on INS. So Nancy, if you could scroll down to Lang and Lit tab. I'm going to start by talking about PicLit. So PicLit is a website that allows students to pick a picture and then add a caption or text to that picture. So it's more in the creative realm. It's great if you're working parts of speech or wanting to do something with metaphors, analogies. It's just something a little bit different. So that's why I chose that one. The next one I want to go to is the Tween Tribune. And this is a website that has a variety of articles. But what I like about it is you can search by grade. And then once you have selected your grade range, there are a variety of articles, and then those articles are differentiated by Lexile level. So you can have your students reading the same article, but you can make sure that your students have access at a Lexile that will fit them best. It's also one of those sites where if you have a specific topic that your class is studying, you can search and it will bring up any content that it has on that topic. So yeah, sorry, a lot of things are popping up right now on the screen. The last one for Lang and Lit that I want to highlight is Ready Reading. Now, before we talk about this in depth, teachers do need to create a teacher account, and the red linked word that says directions, that will give you directions on how to create the account, and then there's the password there. Once you log in, it has reading, writing, and mathematics. So I'm just going to focus on reading right now. Let's see, hold on for Nancy to get caught back up. Okay, so this will provides videos and then student activities for skills and strategies. So for example, on the left, lesson 1 talks about determining central ideas and details. So if you look across the row there, it has a video that will teach students about that, which you can probably most likely upload to Canvas or copy and paste the URL into whatever you're using. And then it also has workbook activities for students. And although we may not be able to print things off for our students, or they may not be able to print off, you could use like something like Kami, where the students can take a PDF and within their device write on it or annotate on it. I also like that it offers a reteach option. So if you know that you have a student that is struggling with a particular reading strategy, you could provide the reteach option for them in lieu of the regular instruction. So that is Ready Reading. They also offer writing, same idea. So, you know, for the different types of writing, narrative, opinion, whatnot. And it has some graphic organizers and instructions on that. Prompts, rubrics. Overall, just a solid site. All right, we're going to go ahead and progress on to INS. There's 3 that I would like to highlight. The first one is Facing History. I selected that one mainly because once you get on the site, up towards the top of the bar, there is a word that says Topics. So it's right next to About Us, Nancy. Yep. And if you scroll down, it has kind of grouped different overall topics. And then within those topics, there are videos, there are photographs. You can even sort by what you're looking for. Yeah. So lots of options there. And again, that's called Facing History. The next resource is iCivics. Now, some of you may have used this before if you have civics that is part of your curriculum. It is a little bit more cartoon-like or video game-ish in the way that it presents information to students. but I thought it would be interesting for them just to have something that maybe looks a little different, kind of graphic novelish. And then the last one that I want to feature for INS, but can also be applied to multiple content areas, is the idea of a hyperdocument or hyperdocs. And I'm not sure how many of you use these. This is a website that is a warehouse for various hyperdocs. So you do have to get in there and play around a little bit. Nancy's showing us how they've categorized pre-created hyperdocs based on subject. But a hyperdoc is basically like a virtual field trip or pathway where students work through a number of tasks, and all the tasks are hyperlinked to one document. And it is something that is intended for students to do over multiple days. It is not something that they would complete generally in one day, depending on how many links you have in your document. So Nancy's showing, we haven't gone through all of these, but basically this is a hyperdoc where they're learning about, I think it was Greece or something. And you can basically link anything to this document. Hyperdocs would be something that as we go into e-learning, if you have a particular unit that you're starting, or for Lang and Lit people, if you're studying a certain novel, it's a very creative way to present information to students. If we can go back to yeah, that's great. We don't need to open all these up. You can see it on your own, but there is a link for hyperdocs that are just for secondary, and they have broken that down by content. And then also, for those of you that are on Facebook, there is a hyperdoc group, I guess, and they are posting new hyperdocs all the time. And right now with people doing at-home learning, there's just a wealth of things on there, and you can search it based on what you're looking for. So that's all I have for my Lang and Lit people and INS. Please reach out to myself or any of the coaches if you have further questions. At this time, I'm going to hand it over to Madeline, who's going to talk about SEL.
Thanks, Laura. Hi, Eastwood. Good to be with everyone here virtually. I'm just going to share a couple resources with you if you did want to continue having SEL conversations with students or do some advisory things. So the first document that I'll kind of lift up is the virtual advisory / CPR. And this is something that I'm working on, a teacher from Northview with actually. And one thing she wanted to do was provide some advisory space for her students. And so tomorrow, actually at 10 a.m., we're going to try out the Canvas conferences line and see if that works effectively for having a kind of like a virtual CPR, virtual advisory. So we put together this sample agenda of what this could look like. And we're thinking through like how we can do some greets and shares that maybe we would do in the classroom, like some developmental designs things, how we could modify those to be virtual, thinking of games that we could do. So like tomorrow we're going to try out the count 1 to 10 game virtually, getting some student input on any things that they would want to be shared or talked about in a space. So she created like a Canvas course for her advisory, and we're going to be using that. She's going to have them do like a show and tell type activity where everybody shows something that, they have in their house and tells a story about it, just to kind of keep up the connection. And she's planning on having some options for students to write or type if they're not able to join by video. So that's just kind of the structure that we put together. And again, we'll be trying that tomorrow. So I can let you know how that goes. If you're interested in doing something like that, you can reach out to me and I'd be happy to support you with that. If we keep scrolling down, We also started putting together some other ideas and resources to use for kind of continuing that advisory space through Canvas with students. So how to make some of the greets and shares virtual, some different protocols that can be used. Actually, Emma, one of Eastwood's teachers, I think she's on here today, shared this with me, and I thought that was really great and connected with what Becca Christensen and I are working on. So I shared that in there, but a PowerPoint where she just got students' names in there where they can share things that like reflections that they have right now, or any information that they want to talk about or bring up in their advisory space. So she's got like a space for each kid's name, and I know some kids have already started writing in there, so that's really neat. And she's added some comments and kind of wrote back to them. And then she also started a Padlet, which I thought was another really cool idea, to host a space for an advisory check-in. So again, if you're interested in continuing your advisory conversations or checking in with your kids, then I would be happy to help you with that. There's some games there. Also, if you are planning on doing anything that you think is really great and want to share, please let me know and I can put it in here so we can use it as resources for other teachers. So then another resource that I really, really like on this list is the Mindful Life Project. And this website has some really awesome, like, student-friendly videos that are super engaging to just continue to share mindfulness and breathing and regulation, some social emotional learning skills with students. So that's the Mindful Life Project. And then scroll down just a little bit. This last one, actually, someone just shared it with me from the Second Step Educators Facebook page, which if you do Facebook, I would highly suggest following that page. They have really awesome resources that have been shared since all of this. But someone put together this Google site that I thought was really great with resources for social emotional learning, talking about mental health, exercises for kids, for parents. So I thought this would be something really great to share as well. There's some Second Step resources in there. There isn't anything specifically from Second Step at this time for the middle school. They're working a lot on transferring some of the content, the K through 5 content, to make it digitally accessible, because most of the K through 5 content is not online, unlike us where we have most of ours online. So there isn't anything different right now for Second Step, but I am thinking about the future. It's like, if we do go to e-learning after spring break, nobody knows, but if we did, I'm thinking through proactively like what that might look like if we did want to keep that space going in an e-learning format. And then the last thing that I'll talk about is the teacher learning tab. And the coaches and I and some other teachers as well just put some things in here, podcasts, resources, things that maybe we don't get a chance to explore throughout our busy days that we want to take a look at now. So 2 things that I will highlight that I thought were kind of neat is the trauma informed course that I actually just started exploring. It's usually $200 and they're offering it for free right now. So if that's something that you're interested in learning and want to kind of take yourself through that experience, it's a free course right now with the code. So Nancy will highlight the code right there and you can just plug that in and take this course right from home. So a lot of the things that like Deanna has talked about or Dr. Lori has talked about, if you just want to continue your own home learning in that regard. So that's one. And then the last one that I will share is from the IDOE. And it's the Science of Happiness course, which is a really awesome course. I went through it. It's pretty neat. Just focused on social emotional wellness for adults and for students. And then in addition to that Science of Happiness course, there also are just some really great resources on this website with regards to social emotional learning. I think we had a question. When you click on the Second Step resources, there's a program activation key. Would this allow students to go through the lessons on their own? Yeah, so that is what is not ready right now. I know that they're talking about what that could look like in the future, just like if all of this is prolonged, and I'm staying in communication with them. Actually, I have a call with them on Friday to see like what that could look like. But if nothing else, I'm going to be taking a look at the lessons over the next couple of weeks and seeing like how we could modify some of that and get some of that content to students. So stay tuned on that. But Laura, to your question, right now, they couldn't access it yet. And now I'm going to, any other questions about that? You're welcome. All right, so now I'm going to pass it on to Dane, who's actually in the other room from me.
All right, so I'm here just to talk a little bit about our ENL students. I think really one of the good things about e-learning for this particular group of students is that a lot of these online platforms that we're going to be using, they already have built-in features that will allow you to modify lessons or differentiate content for the students. So, when you're thinking about your News ELA or your Common Lit, they have annotation tools on there. There's multi-level text, so you can get the same story, the same content, and you can give it to students at different Lexile levels. So that's going to be great for your lower level readers, maybe your emerging readers, and that's those are going to be tools that will benefit a lot of other students as well, not just only your ENL students. I think the next big thing here is just making sure that we are thinking about these students in all of the different language domains. So a lot of the things that we've talked about so far have been kind of reading and writing focused. But there's a lot of opportunities online for students to activate their listening skills and their speaking skills. So one of the sites that I want to highlight is ListenWise, and I've lost Nancy's screen, so I don't know. So maybe she's showing you guys that right now. But ListenWise is a website that is podcasts. So there's short podcasts that have been created for students, and it's not student created. They've taken professional podcasts and broken them down into student friendly ways, and there's a ton of different options, a ton of different things for different content areas, and each one of the podcasts has a set of quizzes. There's a lesson plan for each one, so that's something that can really activate those listening skills for these students. And then when we think about the other language domains, speaking is another thing that our students just really don't get a lot of opportunity to do right now, at least in terms of academic language. So, when you're thinking about how you want students to deliver their work, one of the things that you could think about is using Canvas as a way for them to record information. They can speak into Canvas and provide you with like a spoken answer or spoken reflection on whatever it is that you're doing. And then Flipgrid, I think a lot of you are familiar with Flipgrid, but that's a great tool, especially now because you can actually create some discussion among your students. So the way that Flipgrid works, you pose a question or a topic, students record a message, it goes into Flipgrid, and then other students can watch those messages and respond with another spoken message. So there's just some way to incorporate that academic spoken language as well. And then the last thing that I want to stress is when we think about this group of students in particular, like they're at home, their parents are at home trying to support them with this e-learning as well, and their parents may or may not have a whole lot of experience with with our education system. So when giving directions and writing instructions for your students, think about how you're going to write those instructions. You want to think about those instructions being accessible for the parents as well. They're the ones who are at home supporting the kids, and if they don't really understand what it is that the kids are supposed to do, they're going to have a really hard time supporting them. So think about just maybe simplifying your instructions. Definitely think about providing instructions in the home language. That's going to be beneficial for the parents. Obviously, it's going to be beneficial for the students who still speak that home language and who are literate in that home language as well. And then so I said that was the last thing, but the actual last thing that I want to talk about is on the all contents page. And this is Duolingo. So for your lowest level EL students, this is really just targeted language instruction. It's a free application. It's really great. It's language practice. It starts at the very basic level. Kids can work on it at their own pace. It's adaptive, and it's just, it's a really good tool. It's actually a good tool for anybody learning a second language. And if any of you, I guess you've got some extra time maybe on your hands right now, if you're interested in learning French or German or Spanish, Duolingo is a pretty fun tool for anybody to use. But that's it for me. If you've got questions about your EL students, please do not hesitate to contact me. If you need help contacting home, I do speak Spanish, so I can work with you on that. I can make some calls and do whatever you need there. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to pass it off to Chad, I think, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about IB.
All right, I just snuck in here at the last second from another conference call. But on the professional learning tab, there are some links that I want to point out to you. One is a student agency from the IBO blog, and this is specifically from an INS teacher, how she put her social studies classroom and integrated some ideas of student agency. And there's a lot of ideas here that you can take and transfer into the wonderful online setting, because it allows for personalization of learning and such. So, one of the things every day, students can start to create an agenda for what it is they want to accomplish during the day. They could talk about how they're going to accomplish that agenda, how they'll know, within any task, what the criteria for success would be, but bringing them in on some of those conversations. The other piece would be allowing them to teach some of the content that you are trying to review. So a weekly assignment, like for next week or something, could be to prepare a lesson based on a few slides or something on content that has been taught, a video, and they could then share that with the class for the week after spring break as part of the learning. And then the other one I wanted to look at is the Getting Smart link there. There's just a professional article there, and a lot of what goes into here is just moving beyond just thinking of student agency as voice and choice and ownership, but looking at some of the structural barriers from a culturally responsive lens, and examining our instruction, even our online instruction, to maybe start to break down some of those barriers and make education more equitable for all. And so I really like how this post goes into exploring both of those notions. Some of the other podcasts on this page of the document, the Cult of Pedagogy is one of my favorites for sure. She is so professional and has so many different topics. And the one a couple above it, Mind Shift, is, again, there's just such a variety of topics on these. They both have a lot of authors and such that are talking about, from their research and such on many of the topics, and it goes across disciplines. So there's a lot of good stuff on this page there. Back to Nancy.
Okay, I just wanted to go through some of the links on the electives page. So, for example, for art teachers, if you're on here, there are lots of virtual field trips now, and it even gives you ideas of what you can do through the field trips. A lot of them are museums. There are some music education links on here as well. Um, I want to show you an art bingo board, which I think, yes, it's from Destiny Cooper there. So I just wanted to point this out because I love this. You can go ahead and go in here and make a copy through the file. And then I think she also sent out a blank one, but just a choice board is awesome. I know some of our coaches have been working with teachers on choice boards. I know that Autumn Shear and Laura Swain have been working on that. So, you know, if you are interested in creating one of these, don't hesitate to reach out to the coaches because they can help you think and brainstorm on some of those activities that are not online, because I know the kids are getting a lot of online time right now. It looks like somebody added Disney Imagineering in a box. That's awesome. Two other things I want to point out is the Spanish experiment. This is Spanish children's stories. So here they can look at it. They also have Spanish lessons, but these stories are in Spanish. And then another one that someone posted was the Fable Cottage. And here are bilingual tales. So French, Italian, Spanish, German, English. So all of these are free stories as well. And they keep adding. So these look like that they're actual film ones at the bottom, but I know the top ones are, I think you can go in and actually listen to them so they can be read to them. So those are some other links on there for you to use if you would like. Right now I wanted to go to the chat, and if anyone wants to share anything that they are using or doing right now for resources, please add to the chat, or any of these that you've seen. I know Courtney jumped in. She's used Flipgrid, so she would be a great resource if you have a question. It looks like she doesn't approve the videos, Laura, but she does put a time limit on them. Andrea said she's working on a math science choice board. So, you know, if you're looking for any of those ideas or anything, I know the spreadsheet can be pretty overwhelming. There's lots of things. If you're looking for something specifically, please reach out to us and we will help guide you to the right spot or help you create something that you want for your kids. One other thing that I wanted to share too is when we talked about Padlet, and I'm going to add this. So Mariah Brobe at Westlane created this, and you can see here she has links to reading, writing, listening. She even has music on here. Here's like a TikTok activity for the kids to do. She even has a Zumba in there, and then even coronavirus in Spanish. So there are lots of different activities here, and this is something that she built for her kids that can go on and pretty much do different learning experiences. So this is just an example. I will add that to the extended learning resource page, but anything that you've created that you don't mind sharing, please send it to us. We will link it on there. If there are any other things that you would like to see added, please share. Let's see. Okay, so I'm rambling on, but does anyone have any activities they would like to share, or any websites that they've come across that are awesome? Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to talk as well. Or if any administrators are on, if you want to say anything.
I guess one thing that I will just add is just, we're all figuring this out and we're all unsure. So feel free to reach out if you need support with anything, even if it's, in the social emotional realm, like just we're in this with you, and also figuring this out. So feel free. We're here to support you and work with you and put lessons together with you, chat with you. I've Zoomed with a couple of teachers already. So just please, we're here and reach out to us.
Yep. Okay, so I just want to thank you for coming. Karan, you should be able to click on your screen and unmute yourself. Shows a little microphone if you want to speak.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone that is in attendance today. I know this is kind of a challenge for all of us, and we're learning more and more about the e-learning space. And nice job to the coaches for getting this rolled out to staff and walking through this with everyone. I know I really appreciate it as a parent myself, and there's a lot of things that I'll be using from this with my kids. So good luck in this time. And if you need anything, the coaches are always available, but feel free to reach out to us as administrators as well. And, we're in this together.
Thanks, Jamie. So just want to thank you again for all jumping in. We are recording this, so hopefully as long as it uploads, because I know it's pretty lengthy, we will send out the link in case, obviously for other people to watch if they weren't on here. But if you have any questions on any of these, please reach out. We can jump on Google Hangout or Zoom or something and walk you through any of this. So don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. So if you want to go ahead and stay on, if you have any one-on-one questions, that's fine, but we are done. Thank you so much. Yes, Laura, you can actually set up Google Hangout, and if you want, I can show you how to do that really quick. So for example, if you go into your Drive, and hopefully you can still see this. Can everybody still see my screen that's on? Okay, so here's my Drive. If I go in right here and just go to calendar, and then say I want to set something up on Friday, I can click Friday at 1 o'clock. Pretty much I can add a title of meet with my students. I know, Courtney, if you're still on here, this is how I did it. Then add conferencing and then Hangout Meets. And pretty much right here, this is the link that you want to send to your kids. So that's all that you have to do. Literally, you just copy that link and send it out and tell them what time to be on, and it's there for you. You don't have to invite every kid, nothing, just what I did with you guys. So if I save this, now it's on my Google Calendar. If you send it out to other teachers, it does go to their Outlook calendar through their email, but it doesn't show up on my own if I create it. So it's just on this one. So here is where I can copy that, and then now I can just paste it in an email or something to my kids, and this is the link that they would go on Friday from 1 to 2, and that's it. So really super easy. I know Zoom is a little bit different because you have to have it like on your computer, so that's a little bit different. I think Google Hangout is really easy for kids just because they just have to go to a website, a little link, so it doesn't require them to download anything. So another thing that I will share is, if you notice on my screen right now here, these 3 buttons, you can go to more tools and go to extensions. So this is something that I've done, and then go here to extensions and open Chrome Web Store. I have downloaded Screencastify, and what that does is you can download this, and this will let you record your screen. So if you want to make a tutorial for kids, just you can actually use this and create a tutorial. Or for example, right now I have it turned on to record this and it's just this little arrow. So I just click that and literally it pops up right here, your desktop is being recorded. And so I can stop that. I can actually have a little camera down below showing me. I turned that off because I don't have makeup on and I didn't do my hair and I let my hair dry itself. So anyways, you can put Screencastify. I can send you a code and there's no limit. And then you can send a link to kids on tutorials or upload to YouTube or whatever.
Nancy, can I show how, or if you have access to it, I don't know if you can share my screen, how to do the Canvas conference, video conference through a course?
So at the bottom, I'm going to turn my presenting off and then you can present. Okay?
Okay.
So there you go. So now you should be able to present. At the bottom, it says present now.
Yep, got it. Give me just a second. All right, so can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, so it's pretty easy. So from the dashboard, clicking on your course, and then on the left-hand side, conferences, and then you just add a conference and just label it like, whatever, like advisory, whatever the date is. And then you can invite all course members here, or you can choose specific people that you want to invite to it. So that's really easy to do. It's just the only thing that trips me up sometimes is when I try to do it without clicking on the course. Like, you have to click on the course and go through it that way.
Thanks, Madeline. Oh my gosh, Brittany. So cute. Madeline, do you see Tutton's question? Can you record a tutorial just for the Canvas conference that they could send out to staff? Just how to do that.
I'm becoming a professional in recording things and making videos. I'd be happy to.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, we all are, I guess.
Okay. Does anybody else have any cute babies or puppies they want to show before you leave? I love it. Thank you again so much for joining us, and we really appreciate it. If you want to stay on. Oh, David! Oh my gosh! So cute. Yeah, Courtney.
Dang, you gotta show Carl.
Courtney's got 2 of them. If she's still on, she needs to show them. Oh, she's on. I love it. Oh, Andrea. I love this. This makes me happy because I feel like, oh, dang. Quick shot of the puppy. Oh, Courtney. Oh, there they are. Love it. Aw.
Let's see if I can get a better.
Chuck and burn from Courtney. I love this. Maybe we need to send out like a Google Hangout for puppies and babies. Just jump on and share.